So good morning, everybody. My thought for you this week is I've been really getting that sense, and I think all of you have also, that the energy of nature has already begun its shift, right? So even though we have a couple more days, even a week or two where we can tell ourselves that it's still summer, you can feel already how the energy is starting to move. The weather is starting to shift. And what I've been saying a lot in class lately is that the whole point of our yoga practice is to be in tune with that kind of subtle energy, that subtle flow that we call prana, right? And everything is prana, but to be connected to it in a way where you don't need a calendar to tell you when the season changes. You don't need these sort of abstract lines drawn in your life to tell you what's going on. You can follow that sort of intuitive and internal flow of this is what needs to happen because this is where the energy is going. This is where the prana needs to go, wants to go, has to go. And so in that sense, right, we're moving seasonally, transitioning seasonally. And it's a big one usually this time of year because it's a transition back into a whole different way of dealing with your day, right? From summer back into autumn, it's a completely different experience. And this year more so than I think any other in memory, that there's a lot that is changing, a lot that is different. There's not that easefulness of being able to just fall into a routine that you've done 1,000 times before, right? Everything is like you have to do it brand new while your brain fights you saying, but I used to do it this way and I really want to keep doing it that way. Right. And so this is where we are practice wise, is realizing that those grooves that we have in our brain, those grooves that we have in our mind, those grooves that we have in our own pranic body, is that the more we start to shift, is we're going to have that push and pull. We're going to have that inner feeling of almost conflict of I used to do it this way and I kind of want to keep it that way because that feels easy. And at the same time, my prana is telling me that I need to go another way, right? The world is telling me I need to go another way. So being in the middle of that is where we have to continuously be in that state of relaxing back to what's steady, relaxing back to what's neutral, right? That's not I'm clinging to what used to be, and it's not that I'm reaching for and rushing to what might be, is I'm staying in that state that's very neutral. And this is what we call grounding, right? Because we're moving into Vata season. So what does it mean to be grounded? It means that you are steady in the moment as it is. You're in that neutral place, right? So we're working with that all the time, but especially in these times of transition, you're going to feel that kind of pull, right? So I want you to be aware of it. Don't run from it. And at the same time, know that the answer to it is not to just try and rush through it. If I just make all the changes, it'll be fine. But to focus on, can I get to that neutral space where my mind isn't in a state of gripping, right? Grasping. So comfortable seat if you're not there already. The eyes close. And find your breath for a moment. And I am very excited, some of your faces I have not seen at 8 a.m. on a Saturday for a while, so I'm really happy to see you. Make that your new habit. Get back to that. And breathe a little bit deeper. And by breathing deeper, that doesn't mean force yourself aggressively to fill with breath. But can you find that empty feeling? Breathing deep is an act of emptying. Right? Our act of breathing is like a vacuum. The lungs create a vacuum and it pulls air, pulls prana in. And that's what we are, is we're that vacuum that can pull that universal energy into this physical form and then release it back out with your exhale. So breathe deeper doesn't mean force yourself. Breathe deeper is, can I find that neutral open space? And the more I expand that space, I become full. Remember that when your mind starts to get crazy. The more I expand, I will become full. This is first thing in the morning. Hello to your prana. And then on your next breath, stretch the arms up alongside your ears. Reach. I love it if the yawning is happening. Get your breath awake, your mind awake. Reach, reach, reach. Go ahead. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Long, 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 long. Good. Then keep that length and bring the palms together. Hands drop down straight through that center line to your heart. And we'll open with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. And let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands. Bring your hands to the knees or the thighs, please, and just start to circle your torso and make nice big spirals. Good. Keep your seat as steady as you can. Beautiful. And then move yourself the other direction. So spiral the spine the other way. Good. Finding the pranic flow. So the pranic flow is not the same as just what the mind habitually does every day, all the time. It's having that feeling of the interconnectedness of what the body is doing, how the mind is responding, that you don't need anyone to tell you what it is that you need. Come back to center, please. Do a little bit of cat and cow, reaching the spine forward and up on the inhale, exhaling, dropping into yourself, chin towards the chest, round in the upper back. Good. Take one more round like that, inhaling and exhaling, and then come back to stillness, please. Good. Roll forward onto hands and knees. Stretch your right leg back behind you, toes tucked on the floor. And then drop that heel flat, please. Good. And then take that right arm up to the sky. So the left hand holds you. And as you're on that left hand, I want you to push into your left shin. I want you to round up into your right rib cage a little more. So pull up, like you're trying to pull all of your weight off of that left arm. Good. Press into your feet a little bit more. Deep breath in, open. And then exhale, bring that right arm in front of you. Wrap it around like you're going to reach underneath your left rib cage. Yep. So wrap it around in front of you. Yeah. Like you're going to reach behind you underneath the left arm. Good. Keep your right heel flat to the floor. And then inhale, take the arm back up to the sky. Don't push the ribs forward. Just open the chest more. Draw your throat back. Good. And then exhale again. Bring the arm forward and around. Curl in. Round into your back body here. Good. And then inhale the arm back up. If you're really rounding, you'll probably feel this not just through your shoulders, you'll feel it through the back of your pelvis. One more time, exhale, bring it forward. Keep that foot anchored flat to the floor, right hip lifts up, but push back into your back body, round. Good. And then come all the way back up, inhale. Stretch that arm over the ear, right arm comes straight forward. Good. And then bend the elbow, please. Bring the hand to the back of your heart. So not the back of your head, slide it towards the back of your heart. So the elbow tip is going to point over the crown of your head. So it's not straight up towards the ceiling. The elbow is pointing out beyond the crown of your head. Good. And then press the throat back. Yeah, lengthen through that arm. Awesome. And then stretch it all the way out to straight again. Nice job. Curl into your ribs, please. Release back to hands and knees. Good. Knees underneath the hips. Walk your hands forward so you're in a modified downward facing dog. So hips stay on top of knees, but walk the hands forward. Good. Come up on your fingertips. Yeah. And then round into your upper back just a little bit again. Good. And then drag your fingertips back in space. So you're pulling the crown of your head towards your thumbs. That space of the upper shoulders gets a little wider. Pull your armpits towards each other on the middle of your back. Yeah, so your lower armpits, imagine those rolling towards the middle of your back. Good, but keep your low belly engaged and then lift the back of your throat and pull your hips back in space. There you go. One more breath, pull long. Good, and then walk yourself back up to hands and knees. You said shoulders. Left leg back behind you. Good, toes tucked, drop the heel to flat, take the left arm to the sky. So this is step one, right? Make sure that you have a solid connection to that right shin and that left foot. So you are stacking the hips here to the best of your ability. You're opening the pelvis, but then you've got to draw your ribs in, make sure that your weight is moving slightly forward onto that right wrist, but then pull up through your left rib cage. I want from the core of you to pull your weight up towards the sky. So it's almost like there's no weight on that right hand at all. Good. And then on your next exhale, bring that left arm around in front of you, wrap it underneath your right rib cage. You can look down, you can even almost look underneath that right rib cage. Good. And then inhale the arm back up. Again, the hip stays steady, that left hip stays open. And then exhale again, bring the arm forward and around, wrap, press into your back rib cage. So don't just lean forward, but almost cat-cow your back again. Good. And then inhale the arm back up. Last time, don't fall into that right hand. Wrap the arm around in front of you as you exhale, round into the back rib cage, round into the back of your pelvis. Open the back. Good. And then come all the way up. Nice. Stretch the left arm over the ear, reaching towards the top of your mat. Press out through the left heel. Good. And then bend that left elbow. Place the hand behind your heart, not behind your head. So the tip of the elbow is pointing beyond the crown of your head. You're reaching as far down towards that heart center, back of the heart as you can. Good. So you're opening the armpit and extending. Nice. Ribs in. Good. Now take that left arm all the way back out to straight. Nice. And then bring it all the way back, curling into your ribs, back to hands and knees. Knees underneath the hips, walk your hands forward, modified downward facing dog. On your fingertips. If your shoulders are a little cranky, a little tight, move your hands wider away from each other. The more space that you create, again, that opportunity for expansion, your breath will fill it. And if your breath is filling more space, you're bringing in more prana. And if you're bringing in more prana, then there's room for the mind to relax. There's room for there to be an adjustment of the way you used to be to the way that this moment is. Good. A little bit of a lift to your ribs, lift to your elbows. Draw your lower armpits towards each other on your back. So it's like your armpits are going to pull down towards your hips and pull in towards the center of your spine. Push the crown of the head forward, hips pull back. One more breath. Good. And then walk the hands back in, please. Hands and knees. Nice. Round your back into cat. So as you round your back, it's again, I'm pulling up through my rib cage. I'm pulling up through the lowest part of my abdominals as well. So I'm lifting my hip points up off of my thighs. And then keep that roundness, but again, start to pull the lower armpits towards the center of your back. So you're trying to stay rounded, but pull your armpits in. So that's going to take some of the arch out of your back. Then lift up through the back of your throat. Good. Stay rounded in your ribs, but pull those armpits in. Pull those shoulder blades towards each other. Good. It should feel like you're hugging front of the body to back of the body. Lift the back of your throat. Good. And then step your feet back to plank in that position. Don't lose that feeling of pulling up. If you are pulling up here and drawing those shoulder blades in, the arms can hold you without having to do all of the work. So the arms are hugging, but it's that pulling up through your inner thighs, that pulling up through your ribs that makes this less effort on your arms. Beautiful. One more breath. Good. Hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Nicely done, you guys. Even in down dog, don't lose that sensation of I'm actually lifting through my ribs. So yes, we push out through the hands, but not in a way that we're dropping all of our weight into our hands. Good. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Good. Keep your hands on the floor or blocks if you need. Keep your back heel lifted. Start to straighten the front thigh, so a little hamstring stretch. But your back heel stays off of the floor. So lift that heel as high as it needs to go. Good. Use blocks under the hands if you need. Pull your hips super high and press into the big toe mound of that front foot because your weight's going to tend to roll towards the baby toe. Good. And then come forward towards the lunge again. Knee over the ankle, lifting the chest, but fingers are still on the floor. So there's going to be a little feeling of restriction there. I don't mind. Back thigh lifts a little higher. Good. And then take it back to straight legs, lifting the hips, straightening the front thigh, press into the big toe mound. Good. And we forget, it is 8 o'clock in the morning. It is not a time for making your body do ridiculous things. Bend the right knee as I prepare you to do ridiculous things. Bring that knee forward, please. Left hand plants right arm to the sky, spinal twist. As you come into the twist, don't let your thigh drop down. Keep that back thigh pulling up. and squeeze that right butt cheek in. So Ken, switch your hands, please. Switch your hands. There you go. And Harriet, pull that right hip back and in. Push your left hip wider. Good, you guys. Take your right hand back behind your head. Look towards your navel for a moment. So again, rounding into the back. The elbow drop forward slightly, and then press the head back first and open your ribs. So open your armpit first. And then let the elbow find a really neutral place so it doesn't feel like you're pulling through the front of the arm, but your head is pressing back. Good. Now stretch the arm over the ear, reaching on the diagonal. There you go. And then scooping in, please release that right hand down to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Find your breath. Good. Maybe pedal your feet a little bit. Purpose of yoga is to find your flow of prana so that you are so aware of it that you never lose track of it. Because the world is crazy. The world has always been crazy. It's crazier now than maybe we've ever noticed. Heels reaching towards the floor. Good. Left foot steps forward between the hands. So it's entirely up to you to stay in that place where you are aware of your prana and what it needs and how it gets pulled off track and how it comes back to that neutral place. Good. Hands under, blocks underneath the hands if you need. Straighten that front thigh. Keep the back heel lifted. Take the hamstring stretch. Good. So you're pulling up through that back heel. So I want that back calf muscle to get awake. I want your front calf muscle to be awake, but pull up. Press into the big toe mound of the front foot. Good. And then staying that lifted in your pelvis, bring that left knee forward over the ankle, back to the lunge, lift the upper chest, draw those lower armpits towards each other on your back. So even here, you're stretching your spine between the shoulders. And then straighten the leg again. Come back to the hamstring stretch, lifting through the back heel, pressing through the big toe mound of the front foot. That might already be telling you where your hips or your calves are tight, where your back is maybe a little restricted. Good. And then bend the knee again, come back to the lunge, knee over the ankle. Right hand plants left arm to the sky, spinal twist. Good. Again, watch that you don't let your hips sway out to the left. Pull that left butt cheek back and in. Right hip pulls wide. That's it. Good, Susan and Lauren. Nice, you guys. And then bring that left hand behind your head, the arm that's in the air. Round into your upper back again. Look towards your belly button. Let the elbow fall forward. Take it into a neutral place. And then from your ribs, your rounded ribs, start to open your left rib cage more. Don't move from the elbow. Press your head back, still not moving from the elbow. Find your armpit open to the sky. And then let the elbow go to the neutral place that fits with that. Good. Head presses back, but you're working from your chest. You're working from your ribs. Good. Extend that left arm over the ear, reaching on the diagonal towards the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Good. And then scoop into your ribs, bring that left hand back down to the floor, step back, downward facing dog. Good. If it feels like you've been working hard, even though it seems like we've done nothing, good job. This is yoga. Good. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Beautiful. Right foot steps forward between the hands, lunge. Good. Inhale the arms up to the sky, high lunge. Yeah, bend the elbows out wide, cactus arms, and then squeeze those inner elbows slightly forward. So again, neutral line of the chest. Pull your palms back, but bring those inner elbows forward. Yeah. So it's like you're doing a really big double high five. So your palms go back. Good. And then twist to your right, please, towards that front leg. Keep those inner elbows spinning forward as you twist. Palms moving back. Good. Stretch the arms out to straight, letter T. Squeeze the feet towards each other. Yeah, so the left arm is reaching forward, the right arm is reaching back. You got it. And then bring that left hand down to the floor, right arm to the sky, back to the twist. Good, steady place inside, right? Nice job. And then release that hand down to the floor, please. Good, step your left foot in just a tiny bit and then drop the heel to 45 degrees. Warrior one. So you can step a little wider to the left if you need. Inhale the arms back up to the sky. Good. Arms overhead. Cross the wrist, please. So not the elbows, the wrist. Cross your wrist and then press your palms together like you're doing that little, I don't know, it's like Dream of Genie in my mind. So you're pressing your palms together, bend your elbows wide. but keep pushing your palms together. Yeah, so you're dragging the armpits down, but then pull in your ribs and lift your chest, and elbows go wide. Push up through the crown of your head, press your palms together. Good, so I want you to feel the whole engagement of the shoulder girdle. Pull your ribs in, you're hugging front body to back body. One more breath, knee is over the ankle because it's still warrior one. Thank you. Good, and then stretch the arms out and wide, please. Yeah, straight out, letter T, and then bend the elbows to cactus arms and twist to your right in warrior one. It's gonna feel a little bit less dramatic because your hips are in a different position. So keep that spiral of the back thigh. Your inner thigh is pulling up towards the ceiling, and baby toe of the back foot is super engaged. Nice. And then bring yourself back to center, arms up, inhale, full warrior one. And then release the hands down to the floor. Good, spin your back heel up, walk your fingertips straight ahead, step up, standing split. Use blocks underneath the hands if you need. Good. Try to stay on your fingertips so there's a lightness to your hands. Deep breath in. Good, and then step the left leg back behind you. Inhale the arms to the sky, high lunge. Big breath in. Don't get comfortable. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Step up, standing split. Yeah, where are you moving from? Deep breath in, don't get comfortable. Step back to high lunge, arms to the sky. I want you steady in your legs and steady in the connection of your legs to the rest of your body. Release the hands down to the floor. Step up, standing split. Good. And then stay there, but staying doesn't mean drop heavy into your hands. Left fingertips stay on the floor or a block. Bring your right hand up to your right hip. Good. Start to turn your belly towards that right thigh. Scoop in and push your hips to the sky. Big toe mound of that standing leg. Good. You're not even going to reach the arm to the sky. I want you to just turn your ribs. So you should be looking entirely to your right if you can. Ribs open, ribs open, ribs open. Chest open. Pull that right shoulder to the sky. Yes. And then release that hand down to the floor. Bow the forehead towards the front shin. Yay, yay, yay. Step back to lunge. Come back downward facing dog. 8 a.m. is not the time to ask your body to do crazy things, as we do more crazy things. Slide forward to plank pose. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. And then a nice wide-armed cobra. So as you find your belly, move your hands wider alongside your ribs, come up on the fingertips, and begin to press into the feet, lift up head, neck, and chest. Feel that rotation of you're pulling the elbows up and then lifting the front of your chest. So you're literally getting the rotation of the back bend from your rib cage, from your shoulder blades. Good. Long throat. Nice, you guys. Move a little bit side to side, right and left, and again on fingertips, so you're staying light. That's one of the elements or one of the qualities of Vata that we don't want to lose as we go into this season, the ability to stay light. Right? They say Vata is the perpetual, I go with the flow. I don't even know where I'm going and I don't care. Go with the flow. So can you keep that lightness even if your mind is one that says, I need to know where I'm going? Come back to stillness, please. Relax the chest down to the floor. Stretch the arms reaching back towards your feet, palms facing down, fingertips on the floor. So preparation for locust. Good. Press down through the front of your pelvis. Good. And then lift the legs. So inner thighs pull up. And then again, you're pulling your low rib cage in. So it's like you're trying to bring your belly or your front ribs off of the floor first. Press into your fingertips, lift head, neck, and chest along with the legs. Fingertips are still on the floor, so you have something to push into. And I want you to push into the arms so that you feel the front of the chest lift a little higher. So you push into your fingertips, lift the upper chest a little higher. Arms are extended back behind you. Good. Once you found that, then go ahead, float the arms up, but keep the arms really engaged. So if I was there and I came along and I kind of slapped at your wrist, that your arms wouldn't wiggle. Good. And just imagine that, me breaking into your home and slapping at your wrists. And then release. Good. Plant the hands, please. Press up to hands and knees. Take a brief child's pose, knees wide. I don't know, maybe it's your dream to have me break into your house and slap at your wrists. If it is, send me a private message. I'll do it. Extra service. Walk yourself back up to hands and knees. I will not do that. I will schedule a time with you to come in and slap your wrists. Downward facing dog. We do not endorse committing crimes at Naturally Yoga. Okay, left foot steps forward between the hands. Inhale the arms to the sky, high lunge. Good. Take your arms out wide to cactus arms, elbows wide. And again, inner elbows spin forward, palms go back. It's going to feel counterintuitive because your brain is looking for that feeling of stretch at the front of your chest. But you want that freedom of your shoulders. So elbows cup forward. And then you can draw the palms back. That's going to change the rotation. That's going to actually open the shoulders more. Twist to your left. Good. Keep your elbows spinning forward. More, more, more. Good, Diane. Good, Laura. Good, Victoria. Jen, your elbows can cup forward a little more, palms back. There you go. Take the arms out to straight, letter T, still in the twist, which means that you're reaching through your left rib cage a little longer, a little further back. And then look forward, right hand comes down to the floor, left arm to the sky. So you're coming into that spinal twist again. Good. Nice. Draw your right shoulder back. Good, Diane. And then release that left hand down to the floor. Nice job. Take that right foot a little wider to the right. Turn it to 45 degrees. You can step it forward if you need. Bend the front knee again, warrior one. Arms up. Good. Susan S., just make sure that back thigh is really lifted. Good, you guys. Cross the palms again across the wrists, overhead. If you can remember which one was in front last time, put the other one in front. And with the wrist crossed, press your palms together. And then keep the palms pressing together, bend your elbows wide and push the crown of your head up. So you're lengthening your throat and drawing your armpits down and in, ribs in. Good. Bend the elbows wide, push the hands against each other. Good. And then still that outer right hip, your back hip is spinning forward, so don't forget to do that. Still warrior one. Press the palms, elbows wide. Good. This is grounding. Where is there a neutral, steady place in me that's not determined, not disturbed by what's going on around me? Awesome. Take the arms out wide, letter T, still in warrior one. Bend the elbows into cactus arms and twist again to your left. Inner elbow slightly forward so that you're not looking for that habitual stretch at the front of your armpits. You're looking for the freedom and the strength at the back of your shoulders. Good. You got to really pull up through that left low belly. Yeah. Good, Alice. And then come back to center, arms to the sky, full stretch up. Smile a little bit. There you go, Jane. And then release the hands down to the floor. Good. Spin that back heel up. Walk your hands forward. Step up, standing split. Good, good, good. Don't get comfy. You're on your fingertips. Blocks under the hands if you need. Good. Step yourself back, high lunge. Inhale the arms to the sky. Make sure you know where your feet are when you come into that position. Deep breath in. Release the hands down to the floor. Step up, standing split. Good. Really good, you guys. And then step all the way back, high lunge. Nice. How many times in a transition does it take before it feels normal? How many times does something have to happen before it creates a groove in your mind? Release the hands down, step up, standing split. Just curiosity, right? Good. And then stay there, still light on the hands. Right hand stays underneath your shoulder. Left hand comes to your left hip. And again, you're not even going to lift the arm. You're just turning your belly. I want you to find the twist here without relying on your arm to simulate it. So turn your belly to the left, to the left, to the left. Keep pulling up through your low belly. Pull that left thigh up into the hip socket. Lift through the back of your throat. Good. You got it, Ellen. Just lift that back of the throat. Turn, 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 turn. Turn that left shoulder to the sky. Good, Laura. Nice. Both Susans. And then release that hand back down to the floor, please. Nice job. Step that right foot forward alongside the left, standing forward fold. Separate the feet a little wider. Bend the knees, hold opposite elbows, hang. Sway from side to side if you'd like, or just stay where you are. Good. That concept that we create grooves from our habits, we create grooves from our experience of things, and especially when we tell ourselves the same story over and over and over again. Cements our experience as something that's expected, as something that we are almost tied to without thinking. Call that a samskara. And they can be positive and negative. There's good ones and there's ones that get us into trouble. At the end of the day, yoga says that ultimately all of them will get you into trouble because it keeps your mind, it keeps your prana locked in one way of being. Release the hands to the floor, please. Stay in that sort of ragdoll state. Start to roll up your spine one vertebra at a time. So you have to really work from those internal core muscles. Keep your head relaxed. Keep your knees bent. Good. If it is your habit to lock your joints, to make things happen, to feel steady, maybe something to work on. Awesome. Heel toe your feet a little closer, please. Draw your right knee up and towards your chest. Good, squeeze it in. Good, and then bring that knee wide, bottom of the foot comes to the inside of the left leg for tree. Yep. And then come into your favorite arm position, whatever you like best. It can be arms up to the sky, it can be cactus arms, it can be hands at the heart, hands behind your head, hands interlaced behind you. This is your chance to strike your favorite pose. Good. And then one more breath, just finding the length of your spine. And then I want you to play a little bit. So hands maybe are going to come to the hips, maybe come back behind you, but I want you to bow forward. So come halfway forward. So your butt's going to come back, take your torso parallel to the floor in tree. Yep. Yep. I know. You got to keep pushing the legs against each other. You got to tilt your pelvis. Nice, Alice. Nice. Oh my God, I have 3 Susans, I just realized. Good. And then bring it all the way back up. Don't collapse. Really good, Ellen. Nice. Nice, Laura. Good, Jen, you saved it. Good. And then swing that knee forward, please. Squeeze it up and in. And then release it down to the floor. Good. Nice, you guys. Shake it out. Second side. Left knee up and towards your chest. Good. Bring that knee wider to the left, bottom of the foot to the inside of the leg. So you got to find your stability here, not just up and down. So find your favorite arm position first. So tree that is your habit, tree that is your preference. Right? If I had nothing else going on, this is how I would always do tree, or this is the tree that I want to do today. Good. Nice, nice, nice. And then you have to maintain this feeling of steadiness. So now go ahead, if the arms are up in the air, maybe you want to take your hands lower. You don't have to. If you feel steady, you can keep your hands where they are. But start to find that forward fold where you are sending your torso parallel to the floor and you're tilting your pelvis. So your butt goes back, tops of the thighs go back. Good. Knee is still wide, almost like you're trying to do like a standing half Baddha Konasana. I know. Good. Nice, Harriet. Good, Mark. Really good, everybody. And then slowly bring it back up. Don't lose it. Awesome. Even if you did lose it, don't lose it. Swing that left knee forward and step it down to the floor. Nice job. Good. Shake it out. Right knee up and towards your chest. One more time. My daughter asks for everything. Instead of saying again, she says one more time. Always. Cross that knee over. So right thigh on top of left thigh, please. Bend the left knee. And then, so you're coming into eagle. So the thighs are crossed, shins are pressing together. Bend the left knee a lot. Drop the pelvis. Good. You got it. And then left arm comes on top of right in front of your chest. Wrap the arms. Good. And again, you're pressing the palms together, but you're pulling your armpits back. So don't get into that sort of obsessiveness of eagle that says, I just squeeze everything. Right? Focus on, I'm squeezing my shins, but I'm trying to widen my inner thighs. I'm squeezing my forearms, but I'm trying to widen my upper back. Draw your throat back. One more breath. Drop a little lower. Yes. And then slowly release. Come all the way out. Arms up. Arms up. Feet flat, arms up. Yeah, so we come out of eagle and we just sort of flop around most of the time. Come into that standing mountain pose. Reaching through the crown of your head. Imagine there is a block between your hands. So I know in mountain pose, traditionally the arms are down, but have them up. Have them up. Imagine that there is something between the hands that you are hugging. So you get that strength all the way down into your shoulders. You draw your ribs in. You draw the tops of your thighs back. You feel your shins hugging towards each other, the big toe mounds rooting down to the floor, the baby toe mounds rooting down to the floor. Pull up through the back of your ribs. Good. And then stay in this state of awakeness, but relax. And then release the hands down. Let the eyes close for a moment, more traditional Tadasana. Pose that we say passively, but we don't really practice. Can you feel the flow of your own prana? And that doesn't mean that it's going to feel perfect or balanced. It means that you can just feel what's there. If you're doing this in your practice every day, you're doing this in your life, is your prana will tell you, this is what I need next. This is where to go. This is how to respond. Good. Eyes open, please. Left knee up and towards the chest. Left thigh crosses over top of right, wrapping the legs for eagle on the other side. So the inner thighs and outer shins are connected. Bend your right knee a lot. Drop your pelvis. So you have to almost come into chair. You do have to come into chair for this pose to work. And then right arm on top of left, right arm on top of left. Wrap the forearms. Good. Yeah. So again, you're squeezing your shins together, but try to widen your inner thighs as you push your hips back. And you're squeezing your forearms, but try to widen your chest and upper back. So everything is not just condensing in. Navel to spine. Good. Drop those hips a little lower, Kristen, you can. There, yes, good job. And then slowly release, unwind, come straight into that standing Tadasana, arms to the sky. So that when you release yourself from the pose, that your prana doesn't just go everywhere. It goes here, Tadasana, right? The transition is so powerful, whether we're doing a mudra, a meditation, being in it is fantastic. But those moments as you're getting in and as you're getting out, those are the power moments. Same thing in an asana. Those moments that you're getting in and that you're getting out is where your prana is being structured. Don't miss that part. Ribs in. Like there's something between your hands, hug. Like there's an invisible something between the legs, hug. And then stay in that state of alertness. Let the hands drop down alongside you. Palms can face forward. Close the eyes for a moment. Tadasana. Retraining those grooves in the mind so that there is that little conflict. Can I come back to a steady, neutral place? And if my mind rejects that because it likes to run away from that, can you give it one breath at a time? It's all you ever need to do, one breath at a time. Good. Eyes open, stretch the arms up to the sky, deep breath in. And exhale, bow forward. Good. Step the right leg back behind you. Left leg comes up and back, down dog split. So right leg steps back, left leg comes all the way up and back. Yeah, bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, stack the left hip on top of the right. Nice, nice, nice. Good. And then spin that knee forward, please. Bring it forward for pigeon pose, left knee out and wide. Good. Slide the right leg back, but turn that top of the right hip forward. And then go ahead and find your way walking forward onto your arms or onto your fingertips. And if you'd like, I was doing this earlier this week, if you want to just move your torso a little bit to the upper right-hand corner, then the upper left-hand corner, so that you get a sense of where there's a little bit more openness that can happen in your side body. If you want to explore that, go ahead. And the place where you feel that there's more opportunity, there's more stretch that happens, stay there. And if you're on your back, just stay there. But try to pay attention, if you're on your back, that there is equal weight on the right and left side of your pelvis. So what's going to tend to happen is the weight is going to fall a little bit towards that knee that is bent. So you might have to put more weight on your left side sacrum. Sorry, your right side sacrum. Good. And said that as we start to work with our prana, actually consciously work with our prana, whether it's through breath or meditation or asana, it's all working with your prana. It's just different levels of it. We might initially feel that we're really getting somewhere, we're really opening up and it feels fantastic, and then all of a sudden, bam, something comes up from our subconscious, or there's a thought that, or a feeling that just will not move. We say, ew, where did that come from? If you have moved yourself to the right or the left, walk yourself back to center and stay. These are the samskaras, those deeply entrenched things, and there's nothing that you need to do when they come up, is you don't fight them. You watch how the prana has gotten stuck in that habit. And you see, where is there a room to expand the possibility of what comes next? Good, you guys, last breath where you are. And then begin to walk yourself up. Sit towards that left hip, please. Swing your right leg around so that you can take your right knee on top of your left. Gomukhasana, so the thighs are stacked. Feet going wide. If that position doesn't work, again, you can sit up on a prop, so not fire log. Yeah, there you go. Good, yeah, knees all the way stacked. If that position doesn't work, you can sit up on a block, or you can always bring your right shin in front of your left if having the knees crossed doesn't work. Good, nice, you guys. And then left arm comes to the sky, please. Left arm. Good, turn your palm to face back. Sorry, don't turn your palm. Just bend your elbow and take the hand to the back of your heart. The other hand turns back. So that left hand is reaching to the back of your heart. Again, elbow up towards the sky. Good. Maybe the right hand comes up to hold the tip of the elbow. If you just want to work with this one arm, then that's what you're going to do. If you want to work with both arms, then the right arm can extend out to the side, straight out from your ribs. That palm turns to face back. Fingertips come down towards the floor, bend the elbow and reach up to try and find those trailing tips of your left fingers. Good, and again, a strap here is great if the hands can't reach. A block here is great if the hands can't reach. Just pressing the hand into your back is great if your hands can't reach, because it doesn't matter if the hands don't reach, right? You're looking at rotation of the arm, rotation of the shoulder. Get longer through your right rib cage. Everybody drop your right butt cheek down to the floor. Good. Throat back, nice, Andy. Good, all of my Susans. Nice, Victoria. Find your breath here. Again, these poses that are this kind of spiraling help to bring balance to the body, because we don't exist in straight lines. We exist in spirals. One more breath. And then release the arms, please. Good. Walk yourself forward into a forward fold if the knees will allow. If not, fingertips back behind you. Just stay with the chest lifted. Good. Make sure your feet are flexed, especially if the knees are all the way crossed. Good. And if seated, this position doesn't feel great, my suggestion is to practice this pose on your back regularly, because it's good for just about everything. Good. Walk yourself back up, please. Nice. Unwind the legs, cross at the ankles, roll forward to hands and knees, downward facing dog. If you're craving a vinyasa, go ahead and take it. Coming forward to plank, lowering down slow, rising up cobra, back to downward facing dog. And then we're coming to pigeon on the other side. So the right leg is going to come up and back behind you. Bend the knee, take the heel in towards your butt, stack the right hip on top of the left from the inner thigh open. Good. You can do this on hands and knees too. You can open the hip that way if being in down dog is tough on the wrists or the shoulders. Good. And then spin that knee forward, bring the knee wide towards the right armpit, right wrist, body parts. Slide the left leg back. Make sure that top of the hip is turning forward. Flex that front foot. Come forward into your forward fold, so resting on the hands or the elbows. And then again, if you want to play with that, moving your upper body to the right or the left-hand corner of your mat, find where there's a little bit more openness that can happen on the side trunk. Go for it. If you're happy where you are, stay. There's a conversation right there about if you're always moving to just happy where you are because it's what you're used to, eventually that's not going to consistently be a happy place. Maybe it's a little bit less anxiety inducing, but that's not the same as happy. Can you start to watch how your habits maybe have you all the time choosing to cut yourself off because, this feels safe. This feels normal. This feels like what I'm used to, even though what I'm used to is a little bit uncomfortable. Samskaras, they are deeply entrenched enough in our mind that we don't even notice them. The more aware you become, the more those things start to bring your attention to where there's obstruction, to where there's challenge, to where there is discomfort that maybe you've just agreed is always going to be there, and it doesn't have to be. That process of transition, pay attention to your prana and look for that neutral place where you're not trying to figure anything out. You're just trying to be, this is where I am, what comes next. Walk yourself back to center if you have moved right or left. Pause for another breath or two. I know those of you who are just ready to get out of pigeon, you've got a couple more breaths. I don't feel bad for you. I understand how you feel, but I don't feel bad for you. Good. And walk the hands back up, please. Sit towards that right hip so that you can swing the left leg around. Again, crossing the left knee all the way on top of the right, feet wide. And if crossing the knees doesn't work, left shin in front of right. Good. And then right arm comes to the sky. Bend the elbow, place the hand back behind the heart. And again, if you're using a block or a strap here, you're going to hold that in that right hand. And then you can either take the left hand up to hold the tip of the elbow and just work with that top arm, or stretch the left arm out to the left, turn your palm to face back, bend the elbow, fingers point down, reach up. And if you can touch your own fingers, my suggestion is once you have them, is actually pull apart. So actually pull the elbows away from each other. So if you're holding your own hand, you're pulling apart. And you got to pull your ribs in so that your spine stays neutral. Good. Head draws back. Nice, you guys. Steady. Asana is a seat. That's what it means. It implies that the seat that you are in is steady and sustainable. So if you can't stand where you are, it's not a great asana. Pay attention to your prana. If something needs to change, change it. Good. Slowly release the arms, please. Walk yourself forward, forward fold if the knees will allow. If not, fingers can come back behind you. Awesome. Walk the hands back in, please. Beautiful. Unwind your legs, scoot forward, come on down to your backs. Yeah. Onto your backs. Plant the feet. Arms alongside you, a couple of bridge poses, breathing in and out. So as you inhale, you're lifting your hips, stretching your arms up alongside your ears, at the same time letting the hands come down to touch the floor. Good. And then exhaling, releasing the hips, releasing the arms back to where you started. So continue like that for a couple of breaths, lifting the hips, lifting the arms, and then releasing the hips, releasing the arms. Good. Move with your breath. So moving faster is not going to make this position more meaningful. What makes it meaningful is how aware you are of what you're doing and how you're doing it. That as you're practicing, again, the joke from the beginning of class, you're not just focused on the body parts that you think are the most challenged ones here. But what are your eyes doing? What are your ears doing? What is your mouth doing? What is your mind doing? Because if you're doing a perfect asana practice and your mind is still in a state of chaos, and your prana is still in a state of chaos, your body will become more flexible, your mind will stay in its pattern. So can you expand that sense of a vacuum? There's a neutral place. Your body is moving within it, your breath is moving within it, your mind is moving within it. But it's so big and it's so expansive that it has to pull fullness into it. Whatever part of that you are focused on, that your mind is focused on, can you become aware of what is just beyond that? Good. Next time your hips come to the floor, let them stay. Moving into Vata season, it's important to be comfortable with change, with moving. And it's equally important to practice being still, resting. Because when those moments come, when the rest is possible, you have to take them. When we don't, we get burnt out. Prana dispersed, doesn't come back. Rest, become a vacuum. You pull the universal prana, you pull the collective prana back in. Bring the bottoms of the feet together, let your knees drop wide, Baddha Konasana. You watch, your samskaras are very enlightening. The habits that you find yourself reaching for without thought, or that seem to resist the possibility of change, tells you a lot about what you need and what you don't need. Tells you a lot about what your mind agrees is true and what maybe it doesn't want to look at. that neutral place where you're not trying to throw anything away. You're able to observe what is there and intuitively, instinctively become aware of what comes next. Bring the knees back together, please. Bring them back up in towards your chest. Bring your forehead up to meet your knees, squeeze. And as you squeeze, push back through your middle and lower rib cage. So actually round your back. Pull your belly back away from your thighs, but stay squeezed in. Good. And then release the upper back, please. Scoot your hips over to the left, drop your knees to the right, spinal twist. Good. Come back to center, please. Scoot your hips over to the right, drop your knees to the left. Trying to keep the knees right on top of each other, hip level or higher. Most relaxing for the lower back, most neutral for the lower back. Then come back to center, please. Stretch the legs out in front of you, stretch the arms up along the ears. Full body stretch, so flex your feet, dig your heels down. Like that's laying down, Tadasana. Press the tops of the thighs down, pull the front ribs in. Connect the back of the body to the floor. Long throat, shoulder blades, armpits. Good, full engagement. And then let the feet drop open, let the arms relax alongside you, palms up. Shavasana, my suggestion is to practice lengthening your exhales. The more you empty, the more that vacuum is created. The more that vacuum is created, the more you will pull into yourself. Long exhales. Very gently bring the awareness back to your breath. And the body begin to stretch, move in whatever ways serve it well. And as you're ready, draw the knees up and towards the chest, roll to the right side. And take a moment there before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. Hands coming to rest, palm to palm at the heart center or in whatever mudra has been serving you. Navigating that experience of change. I was saying earlier in the week that it reminds me of the sand mandalas that are used in Buddhist meditation, and they're made very elaborate. Takes hours and hours and hours of painstaking time and effort to do, and then they are purposefully destroyed. And that is to remind you that everything is always in that process of change, and that you can enjoy it moment by moment, one breath at a time. But that part of the beauty and the power of it is that moving into it and when it dissolves away. So how do we stay steady in that entire process? We find that state that is neutral. We find that state that is not running to what's coming next and is not reaching and grasping for what was yesterday. Your mind is like that mandala. It can disperse, dissolve in a moment. Those samskaras, they can dissolve no matter how long they've been there. And they can be reformed into something that is equally beautiful but different. Moment by moment, breath by breath. This is what it means to be a student of your prana. And this is what your practice is for, so that your mind can be like that mandala. Beautifully presented, beautifully created, and easily able to dissolve and reform again. So practice that. Where is that state of neutral? Where you pull to yourself that feeling of fullness, that mandala forms without your design and dissolves without your design. Breathe very deeply while things transition. We'll close with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your weekend until I see you again. Please do, if you get a chance, take a look at the new website. Make sure that you sign up for the emails, you subscribe, check out the Wix app so that all of that is done. Pay attention to the new classes that are coming up, a little bit of schedule changes happening in September because there's some fun stuff. Nothing, huge, but some fun stuff. And we will see you soon. I guess I'll unmute you if you want that.
Thanks, Veronica.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so happy to see so many of you that hardly ever show up this early.